Benz punani, glimity glamity, and stickity punani.
The Tufton Market Me report examines whether Tufton used his power as minister to direct the ministry to award contracts to Market Me.
When the soldiers them they hear people stand them street till their light with them door open.
Residents of Text Lane calling for a zone of special operation checkpoint in their community following a mass shooting Tuesday night. 6 victims, 2 adults, 2 young children, and 2 teenagers, one of them living with a disability.
So the disabled, the one who get shot was disabled. My 16-year-old.
Yeah, him sit down here. So
him sit down right on the step right.
Cousin, yeah, and him little cousin, she get shot too in her fear and me one of the 6-year-old there.
So the 6-year-old put up her hand?
Yeah.
When you see him, when you see the boy,
yeah.
Look, so the boy point the gun for the 6-year-old?
The dog, we are back off of them.
Yeah.
The shooting happened in the vicinity of Text Lane and Charles Street in Rose Gardens, Central Kingston. Superintendent Beresford Williams is the commanding officer for the police division.
A car drove up along Text Lane. Men from that car opened fire on a group of persons who were standing and sitting in the space, then drove off. After the shooting, it was discovered that 6 persons were shot, to include 2 teenagers, 2 children, 9 years old, and 2 adults.
The shooting has left residents of Text Lane fearful.
Normally the place would have said dead like on me.
No. There's people outside.
I know why never in that area.
No.
A few of the younger victims were reportedly sitting here when the drive-by happened.
She really conflicting. And a young lady. And with them alone, they there.
And when you say there, so which part?
Right at the step.
Right on the step, right
there. Here, there.
And what?
Carried the right there. And I mean, also when nobody come out, because I penny my food. And when me the shot them know me running.
Even this community dog was targeted. It's why residents are demanding a zone of special operation checkpoint in their community.
If the soldiers them were here like before, right? Everything will be good. From the people them said they don't want the soldier them. That's why the thing be like this.
There's going to be, among other items, the tabling of a report by the Integrity Commission into alleged conflicts of interest involving the Minister of Health and Wellness, Dr. Christopher Tufton, the Ministry of Health, and the public relations firm Market Me. That is expected to be tabled in the House this afternoon. And I gather it's one of about 3 or 4 reports from the Integrity Commission that is now in the possession of the leaders of the Parliament and will be tabled shortly. We understand that the Tufton Market Me report examines whether Tufton used his power as minister to direct the ministry to award contracts to Market Me. It's also understood that the report examines the relationship between Dr. Tufton and one of the principals of Market Me, and whether that relationship had a bearing on the award of contracts to the company. Yeah. That report, I gather, is being watched closely because of the suspicions, the rumors over a number of years about the connection between the principal of Market Me.
The Integrity Commission's report comes nearly 5 years after its probe into alleged conflicts of interest involving the Ministry of Health, Health Minister Dr. Christopher Tufton, and the public relations firm Market Me. The Director of Investigation found that 15 contracts valued at $78.6 million were awarded to Market Me during the review period, 14 by the Health Ministry and 1 by the National Family Planning Board using the direct contracting procurement method. The report concludes that the use of direct contracting breached the Ministry of Finance's guidelines, which limit this method to contracts valued below $1.5 million. The Commission also raised concerns about an unsolicited proposal submitted by Market Me in 2016 for the Jamaica Moves campaign. The report found that the ministry did not conduct due diligence to verify the proposal's merit, nor did it engage in a competitive bidding process. On Tuesday, our news team caught up with Dr. Tufton outside of Parliament.
While it was critical of aspects of the administration of the process directed at the ministry, there is nothing in the report to suggest anything untoward. So from that standpoint, I think it represents vindication. My only regret that it has taken so long, and that along the way a number of persons and entities, including the ministry, would or may have suffered some reputational damage and concern.
The Director of Investigation found no direct evidence that the Health Minister participated in the award of contracts. However, it concluded that his introduction of Market Me and friendship with its co-managing director Lindsay McDonough created a perceived conflict of interest. The Integrity Commission has recommended that the ministry strengthen procurement planning, avoid the misuse of direct contracting, and cease awarding contracts based on unsolicited proposals without proper vetting. But for Dr. Tufton,
I will accept it for what it has concluded fundamentally. If there are areas to learn from, then we have to learn from it and move forward. But fundamentally, the work was about the work of the Ministry of Health, and that was done with all sincerity to get the maximum and best impact for programs, and in particular the programs around lifestyle diseases.
The Director of Investigations has also referred the matter to the House Speaker. As to what action the House Speaker will take, it's left to be seen how that will unfold.
I'll work with the Speaker. What is important is that it has found no evidence of pursuing the matter beyond having a discussion with the Speaker, and I will yield to the Speaker's judgment and have a conversation with her.
People in this country suffering, and one Benz Punani could have get 80 million. What have you gotten for your partner, draw? Your picnic dead up in a hospital. Your picnic can't get a nutritious meal. Nothing can happen in this country. You go and look at me and tell me not to talk about the Benz Punani that has cost poor people in this country to suffer. The glimity Punani. The glimity Punani while the people of this country suffer. The stickity Punani. Oh no, Jamaica! When you're too holy, that's why nobody can't see God's face. That's why nobody can't see God's face, because not even a sipper. Wine them will take what? Yeah. Too holy and not found to live double life. But you see Jamaica. With Dana Thompson, what you laughing about? Benz Punani, glimity, and stickity Punani. Cause the poor people of this country. Gluey Punani. Cause it must gluey. It must sticky, it must gummy. I want to know what in the Punani for 80 million. But you see Jamaica? The said church that I condemn me tonight must ask yourself this. Hey, Lord Jesus. You know, say only students out there. Contract splintering. Him splinter the contract so it don't look like it big enough. And then give you the lump sum of the contract.
Realize something is wrong.
What?
2 young doctors, I'm a Jamaican, a male and a female.
Look here, Jamaica, look at this. Look how the woman was.
So I say all along, we couldn't get the doctor. Where you get them after? So she realized that the job now she can't manage it, so she run go for the doctor. When she realized the danger of what had just happened, she run go for 2 doctors.
Wow.
So the doctor them they in there and them have needle and thread. And them literally have 2 scissors. It's like, we don't call it like a cervical scissors. It have 2 round rings on the end. So them put it way up in my cervix and use it and keep me inside open. And literally the inside I'm with the gauze in and out. I wipe out me inside and I dig out me inside with the gauze. And I did cry. And I said, this is hot. Me just give birth. What do I do? And meanwhile, them I do with the blood in my body, I waste away. And them did it with the needle and try to stitch me. And so them stitch or something I bleed, like them I try to figure out where the blood come from.
Wow.
So the doctor turned to the midwife and said, press down her belly, make me see something not right. So when she pressed down in my navel and pressed down really hard, the blood just sprayed like a water hose.
Wow.
It just a spray all over the floor, everything, me nighty. When she's supposed to put in the urine bag, she can't put in the urine bag because it is slippery because of the blood. She started to have difficulty to put in the urine bag inside me. She started to say to the doctor, say, oh my God, I can't even hold the holes to put in the urine bag inside of her. How am I going to get it in? Too much blood, so much blood. So I said to the doctor there now, and I start scream out now in pain. And I say, yo, what is going to do to me? The female doctor turned to me and said, excuse me. First of all, we are trying to help you. So you need to bear the pain.
To the chilling story now of a woman who lost her baby after delivering the child by herself in the accident and emergency department at the Spanish Town Hospital in St. Catherine. The 26-year-old woman told TVJ News that she was neglected for hours by nurses who told her they were not trained to deliver a baby and the doctor was on his way. Kelisha Williams has that story.
The bond between mother and child is like no other. But even as 26-year-old Shanique Armstrong shared a moment with her daughter on Monday, her mind is on the child she lost a week ago. It all started here when she turned up at the Spanish Town Hospital in St. Catherine to treat a persistent cough and was diagnosed with pneumonia. 24 weeks pregnant and a history of short-term pregnancies, she was being extra careful. She was later admitted, but then something strange started to happen, and she believed it had nothing to do with pneumonia.
I did feel some belly pain, but it never unbearable. So I said, alright, let me watch this. When I feel it, I get too frequent. I said to the nurse, I said, nurse, I don't like how that pain I feel. Should I do vitals?
She explained that the nurse examined her and asked if she needed to use the bathroom. But as the minutes became hours, the pain got worse. And then the unexpected happened. Her water broke. Note she was just 24 weeks pregnant.
I still stay one place because I don't know what is going to happen. One other nurse come, Armstrong, what do you? I said, I don't know. Come here tell you the water broke. And my baby like me now, no sense.
By now it was about midnight and she was in the waiting area of the accident and emergency department, which she described as a makeshift isolation unit for patients.
I'm lay down and I feel the baby go down and she come up and I know say the next time she go down, she go come out.
And just as she imagined, within a few minutes, she was giving birth. Frantic and frustrated, she said she called the nurse who informed her that there was nothing she could do and the doctor was on his way.
When I say nurse, take her, your baby just fly right out in front of her and she just walk away. I say, I said to the girl on the phone, I said she born. And she said, take her, put her up on your chest. But it looked like the card never come out good. So it never tall enough. So the only thing I could do, I take her and put her right here so I wrap her up.
By now, she told us it was almost 3 in the morning. The baby was unresponsive and the placenta was still attached to her.
So when Mrs. said come out now, I just take up it, take up the baby, and put her in the towel and I wrap her up. And I wrap her up because I don't know if she have a faint heartbeat or what. Not even if I take the baby and carry her go over maternity and left me, make me stay there. And you try to save the baby, that figure to me say you can't do nothing.
After minutes of clinging to life, the baby died shortly after. Miss Armstrong told us that it was not until 5 a.m. that she saw a doctor. At that point, the doctor wanted to examine the placenta and suggested she do an ultrasound.
From all along, them said I'm going to carry me if I go do it. It no do. Then when the baby dead, them going to tell me them want them. Tell them I not do none. Okay, ma'am, that's up to you when him walk away. I'm going to say back no more doctor from that. Them just move on like it's business as usual. Nothing happen. Armstrong, time for your medication. Armstrong, you want food? If yes, if no, business as usual.
It's been 9 days and Miss Armstrong is livid. She wants action now. The incident has left her traumatized. Just last year, she was in a similar position at the same hospital where she lost another child at 32 weeks.
The loving Prime Minister and the loving Health Minister, they need to investigate not just this. Anybody else will complain because we're not lying.
When we contacted the Spanish Town Hospital, we were told the matter is under investigation and representatives do not wish to comment at this time.
The government has to be borrowing $15 billion locally. $15 billion people have to be borrowing. $15 billion locally people have to borrow to maintain the economy. Them TD election and now them have look money to hold it. All might
ball out! Whoa, yo. We need help, Jesus. Jamaica need help. Shift the parliament. Shift the election. Shift everything.
Jamaica. $15 billion them and borrow locally. That means no money no day in the economy. Mystery lady. You remember? Julian Robinson said it last week. Where is the money to carry out the capital expenditure? Why you thinking nothing a spark on the road a bill and bill? Una say no water project can't go around the island. Una say the school them not even have. Every ribbon stop cut because the money done. Money.
Help. We key out of the ladder.
We need your divine intervention. There is nothing in the country. No money. And when them done, they talk about choose Jamaica. They're choosing the rotted.
Choose Jamaica for our prosperity. Choose Jamaica, this is what it really means. Choose Jamaica.
For a second, now you see why not, a good economist can do projections, don't you? Now you understand why Nigel run. Nigel run because he know that in the third term, if they got the third term, there will be no money to carry out because the kitty. Who stole the cookie from the cookie jar?
All right, folks, the economist Wendell Ivey warns that Jamaica's reported historic 3.3% unemployment rate masks a crisis of underemployment and a generation of disengaged youth, which potentially threatens sustainable growth. He joins us now to discuss. Morning, sir. Welcome to Smile. How are you?
Good morning. I'm doing well.
Let me start there. What's the difference between unemployment and underemployment? What's the difference?
So unemployment is basically when you don't have a job.
Right.
Right. Underemployment now is when the definition of underemployment is you are working less than 35 hours, you are available for more work, and you're seeking work. So that's the difference between the two.
So you are working, you're just not working enough. That's my word.
Exactly.
Formal structure. What is the best practice standard? It's a 40-hour work week?
Well, when you look at Jamaica's data, most people work 40 hours on a 40 hours work.
Standard.
Yeah, that's a standard 40-hour work. But based on the economy, you have people who work up to at 60 hours.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
So baseline, we're saying baseline is 40.
Yeah, baseline is 40.
And you're saying that the underemployed work up to 35.
Yeah, 35 and under. Yes, that's correct.
Okay. So are you suggesting that it's misrepresentation, the picture that's being given, or what?
No, the picture that is being given is because the economy has transitioned since 2013, 2014. We were at double figures unemployment rate. So now we are down to historic lows, 3.5, 3.3, thereabout, right? So when you look at it, the economy has transitioned, and that has been buttressed by the business process outsourcing, which filters into real estate and other business services. So if you look under real estate and other business services, you will see that that industry is one of the largest industry in terms of labor at the present moment now. But above that, you would find that wholesale and retail would have the highest, and then you have agriculture. But agriculture has a lot of informal labor. Wholesale and retail by itself now, it doesn't foster that innovation. It's just a buying and selling of that. So when you think about entrepreneurship, an entrepreneur creates a value-added good. So they do their research and they come up with something new.
And the market needs.
Exactly. But if you look at how our economy is structured, based on what you can see with your eye, you will realize that, hey, most of our thing, buying and selling, you want something, you buy it online from somebody or whatever the case may be. It is not a real, not a real, but it is not something.
I was just going to say, because there are over 400,000 entrepreneurs living off some of them buying and selling alone.
Exactly. So if we were creating new products, innovation, creating new products, then we would be at an higher value-added level now. So think about it. We have unemployment rate has shift from 14% to 3%, basically, right? But the GDP is still where it was at the same time. So
math is not mathing.
Exactly. Yeah, but Sir Wendell, so someone would say, and as we said, historic low, 3.3% raise. So someone say, you just look something to argue about, because, I mean, this is what we want. We want the lowest unemployment figure in history, and we're getting there. So what is your problem?
No, there's no problem. I don't have a problem. My thing is this. I look at productivity. I've done a lot of research on productivity because my thing started at minimum wage. I wanted to see how I could help minimum wage workers because I had some family who they had like close store in downtown. I have a lot of females who worked in that store and they earn minimum wage. So I was curious as a economy student, if you increase the minimum wage rate, how would you help these people? How would that affect the economy? And my research over time showed me that to help not only those minimum wage persons, but even people on middle income and higher income, you have to increase productivity, right? So that is why when you look now, if you look at underemployment, people want more work, more time, and that is one of the reasons why you find that many people actually migrate or they go on a hustle because there's not enough income. Many of those persons who are working, their jobs are being supplemented by remittances, right? So if you look at the underemployed now, when you go to the hustle, if they look to go on a hustle, what happens now is that they tend to go into informal economy. They want something that is not registered. So when you look at the amount of persons, if you juxtapose how many persons are working now, 1.4 million, and you look at how many persons when you look at the PAYE, it's 600,000 persons on the PAYE. And that's far more registered, that's captured in tax.
But tell me why that is, because the government has now made it, they put several measures in place for you to register your business, for you to even benefit. There are benefits you can get for registering your business. There are incentives that you can get at the end of the year. So why aren't more people going into the formal? Because Jamaica has been, hustle culture is our thing for a long time.
Yeah, definitely.
And I would posit to you that underemployment is something that's been standardized in this country over decades. I mean, if you extrapolate and dig and drill down in those numbers, even when it was double digits, what about them people that are underemployed? Because that's our culture, no?
Exactly. So that is the reason why I'm saying when you look at the 3.3, you need to get a lot of those people in the formal sector, because think about it from this way. Because I think about development, right? So if you look at the people who are underemployed, if they move and go into the informal sector, then, for example, if you look at pensions, because you have to look at over time horizon. So if you look at pensions now, currently only about 12% of those who are working are in an active pension plan. So if we find that more people are going in an informal direction, then what happens in the next 20, 30 years? Mm-hmm. Many of those persons, we don't know what will happen with migration in terms of remittances, and not all persons will have families abroad that can actually support them.
Una say they not even have no money. Una say the government has to be borrowing. $15 billion locally. $15 billion favor have to be borrowing. $15 billion locally favor have to be borrowing to maintain the economy. Them TD election and now them have look money to hold it. Almighty